Hey everyone, this is Morgan David Jones. I'm Jack Frost in Jupiter's Legacy. You can also see me in Spiral from the Book of Saw. I just had the most amazing chat with Elias from the Man Cave. Stay tuned. Hope you enjoy it.
Morgan, welcome to the cave.
Well, thank you so much. Thanks for having me, man.
Man, May has been a crazy month for you, huh?
Yeah, to say the least, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been exciting.
Right. You had your Jack Frost on Jupiter's Legacy. You had the Spiral Saw movie. It's like you can't go down, and you got to keep going up now.
I know. It's like everything that I shot 2 years ago is just coming out this month. So like it's just building and building. And then I know I had a couple of like movie of the weeks come out during May as well, which is kind of crazy. So no, it's been a fantastic month. So hopefully it just continues, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait till we dive into those. But one of the first things I like to ask my guests is like you guys have a journey. You guys take a journey to come here. Like I know I was doing some research on you. You're from Australia. You live in Canada. But like, how did all that happen, and with the whole acting and everything?
Like how did I start acting, or how did I move to Canada?
Both.
Both. My parents made me see this like Midsummer Night's Dream, like a Shakespearean play when I was, I don't know, maybe 10 or 11. And I remember yelling, kicking and screaming that I did not want to go. Like I was a bit of a brat as a kid. So I made a stink not to go. And I think within the first, it's so embedded in my memory. In the first like 15 minutes of seeing the show, I was like, oh, I want to be an actor. So from then on, my parents were like, oh no, what have we done? But I just started doing I was quite a shy kid as well. So my mom kept on putting me in some like acting classes and drama classes to kind of bring me out of my shell, which I'm definitely not a shy person now. And I started like doing outside like curriculum acting out of high school, and then I got cast in my first ever professional gig when I was 14. Wow. So it's a long 24 years ago. It's a long time ago. And I just like ever since just loved it and pursued. I mean, it's a really hard slog. It takes a long time, and sometimes it doesn't. Like I've got friends who are millionaires and famous, and then others who are still, we're still fighting and doing the grind. So it is tough, but yeah, it's been a payoff right now for me, which is fantastic.
No, like growing up, you mentioned you're around 14 was it around 14 that you got into this?
Well, 14 was when I got my first professional gig. Yeah.
Yeah. What was that?
It was a theater show. It was a Shakespearean theater, Richard III, in Brisbane, where I grew up. So it was just like, there was like an open casting call, and I went. My parents took me, and were able to get it. And then from then on, I got an agent from after that, and then I did television, and then I went away to an acting school for 3 years, and then just had spent 7 or 8 years left in Sydney after I graduated, and then I pieced out and came to Canada. Well, I went to the United States first, and I went to Canada after, because I was working.
Oh wow! So what made you go to the U.S. first, like in LA or New York, or what?
No, actually, I personally, okay. So my decision with Canada was, I've always wanted to go to Canada. It's part of the Commonwealth, so we're able to live and work. Okay. I didn't have to just be an actor in Canada. And a friend of mine, I was doing an acting class with, and he was like, oh, I just got my visa for Canada. And it just was like the penny dropped for me. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to do it. And I filled out the application, paid my money, and got my visa. The great thing is I was doing a really big show. I was doing A Streetcar Named Desire, a big theater show. And we toured from Sydney to Washington, D.C. to New York. And it had like Joel Edgerton, it had Cate Blanchett in it. So on the back of, I knew that show was going to be big. I met every single person. I met Meryl Streep, Martin Scorsese, like to meet all these huge stars. And I knew that I wanted to move over to North America at the back of that. And just Canada just felt right. So I moved to Vancouver, and I got an incredible agent. And Vancouver just never really sat well with me. It's just not the type of city for me. And then in the last 6.5 years, I've been in Toronto, and I cannot be happier. It's incredible.
Well, the good thing about that is, like you said, a lot of things now get filmed in Vancouver and in Toronto. And if you have to go to LA, it's just a plane anyways.
It's so, yeah, exactly. And I have a manager, I have representation down in LA. and we still audition for everything like that. I mean, it's a bit hard with COVID, obviously, with quarantining and everything like that, but everything nowadays is done by self-tapes. And if they like you, and they'll bring you wherever you go. Like, I've traveled all across Canada filming. So they'll fly you wherever they like, if they like,
How far is Vancouver to Toronto?
It's depends on the winds, but like a 5-hour flight, I guess.
Okay. Wow.
So like Vancouver's above LA, and then Toronto's above New York. So it's kind of like that kind of.
That's not too bad. I mean,
yeah.
And when you go to Vancouver, you're probably there for a few months, depending on what you're filming, and then you're right back to Toronto.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been able to go back, obviously, with COVID, but yes, exactly. You just go back for the gig, see people. I used to go all the time and catch up with friends and work, and then come back. But Toronto, to be honest, Toronto is so busy. And now that Netflix has they've creating their head office here in Toronto for Canadian work. It's been nonstop. It's really exciting to see the city kind of grow like that.
And Jupiter's Legacy was filmed in Toronto, so that helped you out a lot.
It really did. No, to be honest though, like, yes, absolutely. But what we noticed with a lot of American productions coming up to Canada is they will still hire a lot of Americans, but sometimes the Canadian talent is smaller. They don't really hire that many. Yeah. But in Jupiter's Legacy, they made such a big point, and a lot of the actors are Canadian. Some are obviously British, but a lot of the actors are all based here in Canada, which I think is a fantastic thing because it's done so well, and now everyone's careers is just like growing even more. But yeah, we got to work on the newest Netflix soundstage, one of the first shows that was going to be shot there, and it was like it was epic. It's still the most expensive show shot in Toronto. So to have that every episode, it was like you knew you were a part of something that was going to be big, and hope that people would like it, but you knew it was special.
Yeah. Speaking of, let's jump right into Jupiter's Legacy. Like, this was filmed before the pandemic, right?
2019. Yeah, I got cast like 2 years ago, so we've been waiting.
So yeah, tell us about first of all, how exciting has this been? It's been #1 now for a week and a half.
Yeah. I mean, I'm so excited. Like, I'm also at that point waiting for like the penny to drop to figure out if people are going to like it or still like it or not. Look, it's so exciting. I read the comics. The comics are amazing, and to see where the story goes and grows it gets so big, and it's so interesting. And Mark Miller always talks about how it's kind of the Lord of the Rings or the Game of Thrones of superheroes, because there's so many characters, and everyone is linked in some shape or form, and you find that out bit by bit throughout the seasons. But to be Jack Frost, also to be able to play Australian, which I usually play with a North American accent, and they specifically wanted it to be either South African or Australian. So to be able to use my natural accent was fun, and to dye my hair white and to have a kind of cool crew that we just had fun. And also, we're not the superheroes, right? We're the misfits. We're the people that, and I think we were allowed to, be bigger and be sillier and kind of just kind of push the boundaries a little, which I think was one of the best things to be a part of.
When you first went for the audition, was it for Jack Frost? Did you know you were auditioning for him?
Yeah. That's the only audition I had one audition. And then we got a call a couple of weeks later, just confirming if I was okay to dye my hair white. And I'm like, oh, yep, do it right now. So, I mean, my hair did fall out a little bit because we had to dye it so many times, but it was, I mean, I think Jack's the only one that I would probably be right to play. And where the characters go with Jack and Hutch and stuff, it's going to be pretty cool. So hopefully we get more seasons so you can see it.
Right. Oh, so no word yet on season 2?
No, I think technically we'll hear by June, but I mean, we are #1 for a week and a half. I think we just need to keep up viewership over the next couple of weeks. Right. But I can't imagine them saying no, but you never know. Like, it costs a lot, but there's a lot of people who want it. So let's hope we can get it.
You mentioned you read the comics. Was this before you got the role or after?
I had read after, to be 100%. I had heard of them because I knew of Mark Miller and Frank Whiteley, but I read as soon as I had the audition. I bought them online and just read them, and it's so interesting. I love it.
Yeah, because I like watching these shows, but I was never really into reading comics. And how similar is your character to the comics, or what's different about him?
Well, to be honest, technically our characters shouldn't really be around in season one. We come in a bit later, but they're very similar. Like we have ties to obviously Hutch and Chloe, and they really built us to really support Hutch's journey to find his dad and his like crew, which they're his like best friends that he grew up with. So to establish that, and you understand why we're needed later on because we're collected in a bit of a bigger crew. And I think just to establish the relationship between us and Chloe and Hutch, especially in season one, to see where it goes is very important. So everything stayed pretty true. I mean, there are definitely, the way that they wrote season one is leading towards like the family drama and more of the personal kind of effect. And later on, it gets heavier and really, really dark in moments.
So when you mentioned, you had to dye your hair, how long did you have it dyed for?
So, I mean, we shot over a 6-month period. So we dyed it once, obviously, to film one of the first episodes, but I was actually doing another TV show at the same time when I had brown hair. So I had to go back to brown, back to white, back to brown, back to white. So the reason why it was falling out was going back and forth all the time. But other than that, I mean, you also white hair, you have to like touch up every couple of weeks because of the roots and stuff. So my scalp had a bit of a beating a couple of years ago for sure.
Did you get any looks walking around the streets with the white hair when you weren't working?
All the time. Actually, people often stop me and like, oh, cool hair, man, cool hair. But I've had like, I lived in Korea doing a show and my character had gray hair. And so they tried to dye it, but it ended up being bright blue. So there I am with bright blue walking around Seoul for 6 months of my life. So I've had worse and, I was able to deal with it.
Well, at least it's better. Like a couple of weeks ago, I had Tyler on and he was telling me, he's got to put the whole outfit on and it's like, he's like, it's hours before I give it on set. So at least you just had the hair.
Yeah, I mean, my hair, exactly. Well, I mean, it did take like 5 hours to dye, but that's about it. Hopefully, I think we're getting a wig for the next couple of seasons, just so I can save my scalp a little.
So, like, how fun? Like, so, like, I was watching the show and everything. Like, where would you put your character? Villain or like just in the middle? Like, because everybody's like, like, is he a bad guy? Is he a good guy? Is he in the middle? What's the deal?
Well, I mean, depends on who we're fighting, I guess. We're definitely characters who don't support or want to go against. They go with the utopian, the control, we like to use our superpowers obviously for drugs, money. We're more, I would say we're not villains, we're just more of the criminals. But we definitely don't subscribe to the holier than thou kind of superhero kind of effect, which I think is really kind of interesting, especially when you're seeing the utopian talk about honor and the code, and we're a group of people who that does not come close to us. That's not something we want to do. So I think I would say we're in the middle, but depending on who we're fighting, we could easily be the villains. But
the reason I asked that is because you kind of have a history of playing bad guys in a few shows too.
I always play bad guys. I don't.
How do you fall? How do you get into that?
Well, I know I've said this a few times. It's like, what is casting saying about me if they always put me as baddie? I don't know. I think I remember when I was younger, someone said that I had this Edward Norton kind of feel, that there was like a baby-faced killer. So maybe because I look more like the guy next door, that it seems like I play the villain. But to be honest, I love playing. Like Supernatural play the villain, and that was just like so much fun to be able to. There was a bigger range. You could do anything you wanted to do, and then fine tune it. That really interests me.
Would you ever want to play a good guy? Superhero good
I
guy?
do. Well, it's the majority of like my movie of the weeks, some things like on Lifetime or on Hallmark, I play like a romantic lead, and they're great because it's fun, it's connected. You can be playful, you can be romantic, and they definitely have a place. And I would 100% love to play more and more of it. I mean, Jack, to be honest, is not such a baddie, but he's a bit of a goofball. So I mean,
he's a fun character. He's a fun character.
Absolutely. And I didn't realize how fun he came across until actually watching the series when it came live with everybody else. I mean, the crew that we have, like with Ian, Jess, and Umberly, was we have such a close friendship. We hung out before we even started shooting. We got to know each other. And so being on set, to be directed and to be playful with each other and to be going through this journey with each other, we had such a great time. And I think that kind of reads within the group. So
that's awesome. Well, for like your last question about Jupiter's Legacy,
sure.
Favorite scene that sticks out to you the most?
For that I shot or watching the whole series?
Okay, let's do both. Let's do what's your favorite scene as Jack Frost, and what's your favorite scene overall in the show?
My favorite scene of Jack Frost is by far the van chase. I think that leading into the fight is, I mean, that was one of the best things to shoot. I've never worked on a green screen before. And then we were shooting in the middle of Toronto in the middle of the night. And also we're playing superheroes that we had to pretend to have, like, you know, we're throwing things at each other and falling around. But I definitely inside the van screaming in pain. It was like about a 10-hour day. It was just a really fun kind of challenge. That was one of I think by far that would be what I would want to redo again, just for fun.
That's awesome.
And favorite scene of the show, I got a couple. I love the ending. I love the visual effects of the ending and how kind of ethereal that is. But I am impartial. I think Elena, who plays Chloe, is just so extraordinary. And so episode 4 with her in the club, I think she is phenomenal. And she's one of the biggest stars that I just was like, oh, yeah.
Awesome. You were talking about that. My favorite scene overall, I think it's like in the first episode where like we see Tyler's character with that big fight.
Right.
Like, I think everybody
massive,
loves that scene. Yeah, it's like
massive. I mean, it's iconic. Yeah.
I forgot where I was going with the question. Oh, were you mentioning about your scene? Like, did you do your own stunts?
Yeah, well, we did actually all have stunt doubles because you have to. Yeah. But watching it back, you don't even see my stunt double. It's actually just falling out of the van because they didn't want me to be hurt. Like, they can't let us be hurt. So he just fell out a couple of times and that's it. But it's not actually even coverage in the end. But yeah, it's kind of fun though. Someone who looked exactly like you, he had a wig and wore exactly the same thing. Yeah. So yeah. So I mean, the stunt crew is a guy. They're insane.
Oh yeah. So I mentioned at the beginning of the interview also that, you know, you had Saw, Spiral. How amazing. This was filmed also before the pandemic.
Yes, so this was filmed before
the pandemic.
Saw was actually filmed before Jupiter's, just before it. Wow. So, yeah, but I mean, that was supposed to come out last year, but because of obviously the pandemic, they pushed it back. But Saw was fun. I mean, I have such a small role in it, but it was a great time. I worked with Chris Rock. I had to go to prosthetics. So I spent a day in prosthetics outside of Toronto, building my entire, like, half my body. And then to spend hours and hours with the prosthetics and blood and stuff beforehand. I've never done that before, you know? And so that was really, really kind of cool. And then to be in the middle of Toronto filming with Chris Rock was, yeah. I mean, it's it was number one box office over the weekend as well. So it's, and I haven't even seen it, but yeah.
Are you planning to see it? I haven't watched it yet either. There's just so many of those. Now they decided to start another series too, and it's like, come on.
Yeah, but it's directed by Darren, who's one of the originals. So it's I've heard the reviews are saying it's one of the best. I definitely will see it. It's not out here in Canada yet, and we still are in lockdown here in Toronto, so we can't even go out anywhere. But once we can, and if it comes out, I would definitely be supporting it by far. Yeah.
So really quick, like, I noticed that you did voiceover for video games also.
I did that for Assassin's Creed. Yeah.
Yeah. How awesome was that?
It's a really fun and challenging job. I was recommended by casting. They needed someone really quickly, and I was able to go in, and we did mocap. So I actually did the capturing of my body as well. So we're in the studio, and you got all the dots all over you, got all the equipment on your face, and the whole room is full of cameras. It's a whole nother art form, and I have total respect for all those actors. But being in the voice, just being able to not only voice my one character, but I voiced about 12 or 13 different other characters within the show through the game. It's big. It's exhausting. Like I remember only being booked for 3 sessions, and we ended up being like 14 or 15
Oh
sessions because they
wow.
just kept on adding stuff because you were like, great, let's do it. But it's taxing on your voice. But it was to be able to my friends play the game and for them to laugh and to hear me like yelling at them or whatever. That's kind of cool. I've never played the game, but I would, I'd love to give it a go.
Would you ever do it again? Would you ever do another video game?
Hands down, absolutely. I think it's like theater in a way. It's like you get to live in a bigger world, and you get to play a variety of different characters. I mean, absolutely. If anyone wants me, please book me. Bring it on.
The reason I asked is I've had guests where they did a Call of Duty and for 2 different ones, and they're like, "Oh yeah, like sign me up. I'll jump on it tomorrow if I can." It's like they had so much fun doing it.
Absolutely. I think like I have a lot of friends who we've all done video games, and it is one of the things is like, please, like we fight to get that video game, but it's it's a small community. To get in, it's a bit harder, but it is such a great time, and the crew are fantastic, and in a way you just get, there's no limit, you just play. And to have when you say that to an actor, you like just play, like come on.
So what's next for you? Any other projects that you have coming out soon, or
well, I have another couple of like movie of the weeks coming out this year. I just shot a TV show that will be out. It's in a Canadian comedy called Letterkenny. I think it's on Hulu in the States, but we have it on Crave here. And then I'm shooting another Canadian show called Murdoch Mysteries. I shoot that in about 2 weeks' time. But things are building and slowly building, which is fantastic, and things are coming out. But we've been very close for some really big gigs, and I hope that they pay off soon. So we'll fingers crossed, and if we do, I'll let you know.
Morgan, how can the listeners and the viewers find you on social media?
My Instagram is, and I believe everything else is Mr. Morgan David Jones, because someone took Morgan David Jones. So it is Mr. Morgan David Jones.
Morgan, this was great. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. Have a wonderful day.